So we finally got some must-needed switches to fix the crap switches on the back by the blast furnace. Welcome to H.O. Powertrain. What kind of switches are they, David? These are the switches that have a bad rating in forums and other places that people claim that they break and they're not any good. And I've been using them since I've started over here, and let me tell you, Atlas Super Switches, number 6s, the perfect switch to use for any model railroad. They say, what's the difference between numbers? Why so big of the number? Well, the bigger of the number, the better of a transition you have. A more comfortable transition that your locomotive has coming off your main line into the yard without derailing, right? So number 6, in my opinion, is minimum if you're doing something more like a realistic kind of deal, because they're big switches and they're very, very beautiful. They're very realistic looking for a $20 price range. So they're not expensive. They work great. And again, number 6 is minimum for that, in my opinion. So, all right, so we got you set up over this Pico switch here. And again, Atlas number 6 versus, I think this is a number 6, but it could be a number 5. Even still, if it's a number 5, um, we're looking at a 3-inch difference from Atlas to Pico. So I'm not sure if this is a number 5 or number. I thought I ordered number 6, but anywho, it's such a bigger transition. These are way beefier. The rails are thicker. They got power clean through these switches. Everything that I need from these switches is going to replace these here. I know that these grooves and these frogs here don't give any trouble versus this has. These switches are just too tight for my locomotives. They rock when they come over it. There's a lot of threatening derailing issues with this, okay? Those are all that are wondering. Kind of explains a little bit of it, right? All right, so let me come down in here, and because I got it soldered here and I don't want to compromise this rail too much, we're just going to blast it with the Dremel. Like so. Very, very simple. Our rail is loose here, and we're going to come right here. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to butt it up here, grab our Sharpie. Doesn't have to be exact, but it has to be close enough, right? I'm going to imagine it's going to have some clicky clacky sounds right here because the gaps are going to be probably a little larger than what I'm thinking. Okay, so of course the switch connection stops here. We're not even going to mess with that because it's soldered. We're just going to come right on this side of the line and cut it. And what it was, I glued this stuff down with silicone, and as you can see, well, let me get something to get right on the knife and see if I can work it from that switch, because I got that one spot where I didn't want to let go. Okay, there we go. Release this plastic tie. Now you have a crappy switch that I never want to ever, ever, ever use again. There you have it. Again, don't look at beyond here because this is just parts of the rail. So the switch actually stops here, and you can see the difference in that. Okay, this is a great factory switch. You can even look at the size of the rails. This one's so much thinner compared to the Atlas. The only good thing I would say, which if you're using electric switch throwers, the motors, that you have to take these springs out in the throw bar, right? And what it is, they just clip in and hold in place. That's the only positive I see on this. The negatives is I had to put in my own jumpers to keep these rails powered through because it is power routing. And no more with that. Come in here, see if we fit. Oh, yep, we're going to fit just right. Maybe a little shaving on this part. That's no problem. Okay. But before we do that, we got to cut our ties out. People like to slip under the ties. I don't do it because you're interfering with the rail when you do that. You can give yourself a hump by doing that. So what I do, I leave it the way it's supposed to be, and I cut the tie out. I like to use like some little nipper cutters to cut them out, but we on the fly and we have our Dremel. All right, what we're going to do, we're going to shave up this rail a bit. See if it's a drop-in fit. Good. Got a card thickness of a gap. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Now what we have to do is work in our rail joiners. So for that, we're going to release these two ties here. Try to break away a tie here. One tie is enough on this part. There it is. Ties are out. And you might ask, David, why do you do it like that? So we can put the rail joiners, they'll slip right in, right? Okay, this part here has a big glob of solder, so we're going to have to desolder this and slip our rail joiner here. All right, that thing is maxed out at 800 degrees, 800 and something degrees. We're going to clean our tip with a little cloth and a damp cloth, okay? We want to start off with a good clean tip. And we're going to release this solder. Yeah, we melted that tie a little bit, but it's not enough to hurt anything. You're not even going to see it. So where our rail joiners are at and what we got to do for those things. Okay. We're not going to have enough slack to slide over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, we're going to free up this rail joiner. So we're going to cut as much as we can off of it. There's always like a little tab left. We want the full length of the rail joiner, right? Slide one of these on. Same thing for this. Okay. We're going to do it like that all the way around. Well, actually, we're going to put these on. Let's put these on opposite here. Okay. Good, good. All right, so you can see here, right, where that's at, but it's going to have to be a drop-in fit. So we're going to cut them joiners right at the rail so I can slide, okay? So going to be a drop-in fit, okay? Now we're going to have to work this joiner back onto it. Probably some pliers would work in this case. That's going to need some solder. Okay. It worked great, but it's very, once you cut them and you mess with pliers with them, it loosens up the roll joiner. It's not meant to slide with pliers, but in that case, we have to do it. Let's try this right here. So that's all good. Let's put our feeders back through. One feeder. We flux it before we go any further. That's what's going to create the flow. I'll put some solder on my tip. I'm holding that rail in place while it dries, and we have a smooth transition. Beautiful. Can't go wrong. Ooh, in that process, we accidentally slid the rail joiner off while I soldered it. So dang it. So yeah, flanges do not roll on the outside of your rail. And when you bleed it from the outside, the solder will liquefy and flow underneath the rail joiner, flow to the other side, you know. You don't need to go on the inside at all because you're going to mess up your track gauge, and you'll be aggravated while you're wondering your trains are derailing. That's another good tip. All right, just kind of move this out the way and let's get us a locomotive to come over this. One with the most wheel sets, the most finicky one, and see if it transitions good into our yard, and see if it transitions straight through the switch. Actually, let's go through the switch first. So give this baby power. Beautiful. Let's reverse her. Woo! That thing is beautiful. Has a little rock to it, not as bad as it had on that other switch over there. So I am happy with that. We are smoking. Let's slowly take it down into the yard. It did funny on that frog. That was odd. Let's make sure we're still on the track. Yeah? Okay. Oh, a little trash on the rail, but let's reverse it. Watching it slowly. What's happening is going down into that unsupported section. So we're having a problem with this locomotive, man. It's see, look, it's not even wanting to go forward. Come on. Okay, I gotta fix this locomotive. Take this off the track. Jesus. That locomotive is trippy, man. At least it stayed on. So hold on. Let's get another one. All right, big 8500. Let her come over. Good. Track is dirty. I like it. All right, let's go through the switch and we call it a video, guys. Beautiful. Track is filthy, man. Show you what I did. There's our work. 2 feeders. Soldered. Good transition. This here needs to be supported. This locomotive I need to figure out. And this one, she's a beast. And this has to come out. So, alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video on a DIY drop-in switch. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.